Live right now at a press conference that's happening within the Tigard-Tualatin School District. That is the superintendent speaking right now about threats that were made against some school board members, herself, staff at a middle school there that received threats. We're talking about Hazelbrook Middle School. It was evacuated earlier today. Let's take a quick listen in.
That you're not walking your talk. And that's one of the things that I am immensely proud of our staff and our students today. They knew the drill, and when we needed to send them home, they knew how to leave the building and get to their parent or get onto the bus, and there wasn't a ripple in the pond. Our kids are just excellent because we've practiced those processes over and over and over again. And you just have to stay after it and say, you want to say it's this, but this is the truth. This is how we do business. This is how we communicate. This is how we do our work. Yes, is it scary? Absolutely. Does it make me angry? Already shared that with you. But the fact of the matter is, we got this, and we know how to do this, and we bring all the partners necessary to the table to make sure that we can continue to do this. And eventually, it will subside itself.
Superintendent, there was a lot of concern among people who were presenting email to you, threatening emails up to this point, that there wasn't discipline in this case. Can you clarify a little bit about what you can and cannot share?
I can't speak.
What happened at that moment after this fight broke out?
Correct. And that's one of the reasons immediately when there is an assault between two students, that immediately goes to law enforcement. And we let them investigate and then make a determination, is this criminal or not? And
right. You had officers there at the school?
Yes, we have SROs in our schools. Two really amazing SROs on the Tualatin side, Officer Brian Miller and David Hernandez. And we have three on the Tigard side, and it's a great gift from both communities that we have those individuals and that they are embedded or in another school where they can come quickly to a situation. And I think it's important that people also understand that those individuals, it's not just a day job for them. If we have a situation, if we know it's internal, that a student is making a threat against the school or against another student, we will dispatch them in the evenings and on weekends to run a situation to ground.
So they went to that fight?
So they were out external to it, and then the student was then connected with law enforcement that afternoon.
But who actually responded in the hallway?
In the hallways, it was teachers and staff.
And then they met up with police?
Yes, that is correct.
They gave the student to at that point?
I'm sorry?
They gave the student to the police at that point?
Yes, at that point, it is an interview with the student, and then the police makes a determination whether they hand it back off to the parent or whether they continue to hold the student in custody. And that, again, I can't give you any more detail than that because of the situation.
So let's talk about behavioral health. We're hearing from teachers, parents across the metro area, across the country, post-pandemic, behavioral health issues are on the rise. Talk to me about what your school district is doing to address the rise and kind of this crisis that's sweeping the nation.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that question. So a number of tactics. Number one, we continue to expand our MSWs, our social working staff, who are counselors. Not only are they able to be counselors, in addition to our school counseling and school psychologist staff, of which we have that for each of our schools, but they are also able to make referrals to community services and immediate psychiatric care if required. We are fortunate in that we have a very strong partnership with Portland State University, and so we are working with them now on a grant. This came from a meeting that we held where we hosted Human and Health Secretary Becerra at Tigard at the end of, was the first week in August. And basically we are doing a grow your own, not only with our students but our staff, to increase the number of behavioral health individuals we have within our system. But we also are using their internships to provide care as they are finishing their licensure requirements. So it's a tight system, and we're very excited for that partnership. And then in addition to that, we also have school-based health clinics, both one at Tualatin High School and one at Tigard High School, and they provide not just physical care and reproductive care, but they also provide mental health services, either episodically or ongoing, and if they can't service the student, then they will also make referrals out. In addition to that, every school has what's known as either a class meeting or an SEL lesson at the high schools, at elementary and at middle. I attended one this morning at the middle school, which is basically their way of getting themselves set for the day. We answer any questions that they have, what's on your mind, how are you feeling, and then there's a topic that we talk about, self-regulation, how we explore and make certain that we can take care of conflict. That's been the biggest challenge for our middle school students coming in, and again, it's because of their access to social media where, conflict, physical conflict in the sense of ultimate justice is glorified. And so we work hand in hand through those daily class meetings to really help students understand, how do I de-escalate a situation? How do I try to work through a conflict without it taking on a life of its own? So this is work that we are going to continue to do, because we know students will not be able to engage and learn if they are feeling dysregulated.
How are you going to make the determination? Excuse me.
I was going to follow up on that, but kind of answer it a little bit. But do you think this assault is connected to this mental health crisis that we're seeing?
I don't know, to be honest with you, and that's part of what will come out of the investigation. Whatever comes out of that investigation will lead us then to, all right, what else is still missing within the system relative to a particular need. Sometimes it's only specific to that student, and so it's very specifically tailored then the terms of supports. I also want to be really clear that regardless of when a student, the victim in this situation or any situation where they're a target of hate speech or physical violence, that we also wrap an extensive counseling support both in school and external for the student.
How will you make the determination?
One more question.
How will you make the determination on Monday whether or not there's going to be school? Will it be contingent on the FBI tracking down the source of this threat that you closed the school for?
I think that there'll be a number of factors, Lisa. Certainly, are we secure and ready to go in terms of the larger community threat? That will be absolutely one of the larger pieces of that. But it's also about, do we have all the right people? Who else do we need to leverage to get the school reset and moving in the right direction? To the earlier question around, how are students feeling? The majority of students have continued to have really great days, and I don't say that in a a Pollyanna kind of way. They literally are just being themselves and being kids. Unfortunately, when we have these situations, we have to address it as a community, and we have. And kids, when we do that, they have that level of trust, and they know, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and be myself. Like I said, the question was, can we go to the track meet this afternoon? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? That's on the schedule. You betcha.
So we're listening to the superintendent of the Tigard-Tualatin School District talk about that threat that was made against Hazelbrook Middle School, and some staff, school board members, even the superintendent follows an alert that they sent out yesterday regarding a video showing some students fighting at that school that was making the rounds on social media. Of course, we're going to continue to follow all this. We'll have many more details coming up starting today at KOIN 6 News at 4 o'clock.